Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. On this page, I talk about technology and money. Welcome to the new subscribers and also returning subscribers. I hope everyone is having a good week so far and a good day so far. And the broadcast finds you in a good place. So I wanted to come on here to do an impromptu and quick live just to check in on a couple of things that I've been following in the technology as well as the current events, current activities space, and just share those things. So you can see in the title the things I'm going to talk about. But first, I want to start with social media fast. So, if you guys, for those who check out the content on a routine basis, I have not gone live or done a stream, pre recorded or live in, it's almost been about a month, I think. I haven't checked, but if you have noticed, or even if you have not noticed, I do occasionally social media fast. I think is good. That includes YouTube, especially as the seasons change, and making sure that I'm spending not all of my time in front of screens, including YouTube, and engaging on social media. Not real big on Facebook, as well as Instagram. I work in tech, so I'm looking at screens or dealing with screens all day long in email, different apps and systems and things like that. So for me, it's good to do fast from social media, ensuring that I'm spending enough time and as much time with my family and offline interests as I'm putting into like social media and engaging online. Because social media, some people say social media is not real. It is real, but it's not everything. So it's really important for me to do social media fast. If you've been following the channel since, I think my channel is about 2 years old, you'll notice there'll be periods of time where I'm offline for a couple of weeks or sometimes a month or so. But that's because I do social media fast, and I think they're just really important. So all of my time is not spent in front of a screen. I'm spending time with the people, family, friends in my life, and also offline hobbies, balance in all things that we do. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and here, I'm going to share my screen that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, y'all should be seeing that. Okay. Let's see, is it sharing? Is this thing sharing? I think it is. Y'all just bear with me. Yeah, okay. It looks like it is sharing. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is if you haven't heard, the new Black Panther movie is out. Okay, Wakanda Forever. It came out last Friday. Last Friday was November 12th, and we did go see it. And I'm not going to do a full movie review on Wakanda Forever. There are channels, both here on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and on the Twitters and blogs and all that, where you can go and get a full review. I will say we saw the movie. We went Saturday, checked it out, and I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. It was not what I was expecting at all. There was some, and I'm not going to give any like real spoilers here if you have not seen the movie. I'm not deep into the Marvel Studios like world or kingdom with comic books and things like that and keeping up with characters. So I was not expecting the introduction of a new character, a new, I guess, realm of like where the vibranium is available. I was not expecting that, but two of the things that I really enjoyed about this movie that I was not expecting, one, I love the girls in STEM thing, and I don't even know if that was intentional. I'm assuming Ryan Coogler and the producers and story writers made that intentional. I picked up on it. The women in STEM, the Black girls in STEM, I love that theme from the princess of Wakanda herself, including, in addition to the character from MIT, and just seeing girls and women in primary roles that are not based around a romantic interest, right? So it's not based on their proximity to like a relationship. So I love that. I love the women in STEM and just the technology. I picked right up on it. The second thing that I really enjoyed about this movie, not related to the theme, but was throughout the film, was the beautiful natural hairstyles. I picked up on the hairstyles. The student from MIT, she had her feet in braids, and then the princess had her beautiful natural hair, and of course the queen as well with her beautiful silver afro. I just love that. So the women in STEM theme, I work in tech, worked in tech for a while. So it was just really nice to see that representation and a different leading character in those roles, as well as the absolutely gorgeous hairstyles. Okay, so that's Wakanda Forever. I enjoyed it, and I'll probably go, I'll probably go and see the movie again. That's how much I enjoyed it. All right. So the second thing as I've been on my social media fast, that I've been doing and keeping up with, is child, the Murdaugh murders. Now my people are from the low country of South Carolina. I don't think I've talked about that before, but my people are from the low country. And if you have not heard, Alex Murdaugh is the attorney from South Carolina, who is currently set to go on trial in January of 2023. For, I think his first trial is going to be for the suspected murder of, this is him right here. Oh, it showed briefly in this this slideshow here from the Murdaugh Murders podcast, which I have been binging. I have been totally binging. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts, okay, but I have been binging on this Murdaugh Murders podcast for like the last 3.5, 4 weeks. I literally started at episode 1 and listened all the way up to the latest episode that came out last Wednesday. So if you have not heard, Alex Murdaugh is a lawyer from the low country of South Carolina, from Hampton, South Carolina, come from a very wealthy family, but he is about to go on trial for the alleged murders of his wife and his youngest son, Maggie Murdaugh and Paul Murdaugh. He is also, this is him right here. This is Alex Murdaugh there. And I'm on the MurdaughMurdersPodcast.com website. But he is also set to eventually at some point face trial for financial crimes. Y'all, this Murdaugh murders thing, if you have not been following it, it goes deep. Okay. It has had me in a grip. Now, again, my people are from the low country, historically. So it's a very, very rural down where my family is from. Like to this day, there's still no stoplights. It's only stop signs and things like that. So it's down there in the low country. So as the host of the Murdaugh Murders podcast, as Manny Matney, and you see her here, as she's telling the stories of all the characters in this Murdaugh, it's just interesting to hear her name off these cities. But y'all, if you have not been following the Murdaugh murders, and I believe 2020 did a special broadcast last Friday about it. They titled their 2-hour series on TV, Dark Waters. I watched part of that. It was a Friday night, so I didn't want to put too much of my Friday night in front of the television. So I watched a little bit of it. But I believe also HBO has a documentary that is either about to come out or is out. But y'all, the Murdaugh Murders podcast, on this podcast, Mandy Matney, she goes all the way. She has been following this family for about 3 years now. And I did not know that the whole thing surrounding the boat crash that his youngest son Paul Murdaugh was in, the ties to the Palmetto State Bank, the financial crime, y'all, it just goes deep. The money that got stolen from the families, oh my goodness, the families, the victims of the Plyler sisters, Hakeem Pickney, the young man who was murdered, but it was initially reported, or has been reported, that that he died from a car crash, but there were no tire marks or anything when his body was found, but his face was completely bashed in. I cannot remember the young man's name. That is so sad. It's just a lot. So if you have not been following the Murdaugh murders, or you are following the Murdaugh murders but not had heard of the Murdaugh murders podcast, it is really good. And I feel like Mandy Matney she is naming all the names, y'all. This thing goes deep. I think the last I heard, according to her podcast, that for the financial crimes alone, Alex Murdaugh, I believe, is facing like over 700 years in prison. I mean, this thing goes all the way to the banks, right? And also Russell Lafitte, who was the president, CEO of Palmetto State Bank. His family owns that bank. He's allegedly somehow tied in, and his trial just started, and he's also did two YouTube interviews with a YouTuber here who used to be an investigative journalist. Y'all, it just goes deep. So I'll be sure to leave a link to the Murdaugh Murders podcast. So that's something else that I've been doing while I've been on my social media fast. And then I've been following the Black Women Making Money YouTube channel, and she has started that's Cherie. And the title of her YouTube channel is Black Women Making Money, but really she gives different streams of income and different ways all women can make money and become high earners, or secondary and tertiary and quaternary streams of income for all women, and how we can there are different things that we can do to build our own personal wealth, generational wealth for our children and for our families. And she has started a book club as part of her YouTube channel. So the next book that they will be reading is the Never Eat Alone. So I don't know. After this stream, I may go back on my social media fast and get that book so I can join that book club and tune in. But anyway, so yeah, Murdaugh Murders podcast, really good. The last two things I'm going to end with, you guys know, always trying to stay on top of like all things artificial intelligence. I know that's a very broad, when you say AI or artificial intelligence, that is a very, wide thing. But two articles that caught my attention over the past month. One is an article here, I'll share it, that just came out in Wired. Y'all bear with me here. Here we go. That just came out in Wired about 4 or 5 days ago, about Amazon's new artificial intelligence empowered, AI empowered robot. And this new robot, y'all, it's called Sparrow, but it's the first robot that's being used in the Amazon warehouses, which they are testing at Amazon Robotics. They have a company up in, I believe, Massachusetts, but it's the first robot being used in these Amazon warehouses that has the ability to detect and select and handle individual products in Amazon's warehouse. So the one issue with using like robots in a warehouse environment is you have, like, especially for like Amazon, you have packages and products that are different sizes, have different depths, have different weights. It's very highly variable. It's not like you're in a warehouse that have, all widgets of the same size. No, you can have a mattress, right? You can have a comforter. You can have an air fryer. You can have a rug. You can have a you can have some toothpaste. You can have some garbage, a bag of garbage bags, right? And so robots with that, with robots and you're training them to pick up things and pack things, traditionally there have been issues having robots working in an environment that a warehouse environment that can do handle all of those different types of products and packaging. But for the first time, Amazon now has a robot that is using AI and computer vision to be able to handle working in that warehouse environment. Okay. And this is a really good article. Again, I'll always, just like I always do, I'll be sure to leave a link to all these articles and resources in the description box. And so I'll just very lightly go over this article that's in Wired. So it says Sparrow could shift the balance between humans and machines in the warehouse using machine learning algorithms and a custom gripper. So this custom gripper apparently can do suctioning as well. Okay, so the article goes on to say it's designed to pick out items piled in shelves or in bins so they can be packed into orders for shipping to customers. That's one of the most difficult tasks in warehouse robotics because there are so many different objects, each with different shapes, textures, malleability that can pile up haphazardly. So this robot takes on that challenge by using machine learning, because that's the machines, the more machine learning, the more data, the more information you put into your algorithm, it learns, it gets better, right? And it also uses cameras to identify objects piled in the bin, plans how to grab one using a custom gripper with suction tubes. So they did a demonstration last week of this robot. But the interesting thing at their facility in Massachusetts, but the interesting thing that jumped out to me, in addition to everything else covered in this article, is they are saying that this robot can handle 65% of the more than 100 million items in this inventory. That's a lot. That's to me, a high level of usability to hit 65%, right? So it goes on to say it can grasp DVDs, socks, stuffies, but it's not all perfect. It does struggle with loose or complex packaging, but still 65% is pretty high. And then it goes on to say that a human can typically pick about 100 items per hour in a warehouse, but they're not saying, how quickly the robot can pick items. But, I have talked about on this channel, and I know other YouTubers in the technology space or the future of work automation space have talked about making sure that we are always, as human beings, improving ourselves, working on our skills and abilities, upskilling so we don't become obsolete, right? You don't just sit on the skills and the things that you can do today. You always want to make sure that you don't have to be 100% all at the forefront of technology, but ensuring that you're doing continuous learning within whatever specialty you work in, whether it's healthcare, finance, government, the nonprofit space. You're always just staying aware of the innovations within your industry. So as things evolve, you don't become obsolete, unless that's your goal, unless you, get into, retirement or transition into another specialty or field. Okay. And so the article goes on to say, so far, the relationship between robotics and human workers in the workspace has been more complex for existence. Amazon has increased its workforce, even as it has rolled out more automation as its business has continued to grow. They do talk about humans being concerned about worker replacement by robots, but they're anticipating, at least as written in this article, to have humans and machines working together. And we see that within healthcare, right? So, for example, if you have a pathologist using AI-powered diagnostic tools, which enhance and increases the level of reliability in which diagnosis or detection of malignant tissues are noted and picked up on, right? So more precision. Okay, so I want to talk about that. Y'all be sure to leave a link. Definitely go check that out. And the last thing I'm gonna share and wrap up is this. Let's see, is that still sharing? Y'all just bear with me one moment. Let's see. I think it was sharing and then it stopped sharing. Let's see here. Which, as we talk about the changes in the real estate industry and how the rents are going up, the real estate market is slowing down, how inflation is impacting us, impacting people in different ways. Let's see, is that sharing? Let's see. Y'all bear with me here. It looked like it was sharing, but then it looks like it stopped. Hang on. Y'all know how it is when you're working with multiple screens, eh? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Looks like it's sharing again. So this is interesting. Again, this is an older article. This is an article I came across a few weeks ago, right when I was going into my social media fast, but I still wanted to be able to share it. But the reason why I found this was interesting because I was not aware that some rental companies are using algorithms to help drive their decision making on how much to raise. Well, number one, whether or not to raise rents, and then how much to raise rents. Now, this is a very long article. Like, it took me a good while to read through it and just process what it was saying. But it's interesting because it goes on to talk about how it gives like the consumer perspective and then also from the industry perspective, but how the algorithm help encourage like rental companies and landlords, etc., to charge tenants with higher rates of rents than the tenants or the rental companies would have done without this algorithm suggesting to do so, and how the algorithm, when like landlords and mortgage companies like implemented the suggestions from the AI, how it increased their profits when it was not expected to. I just did not realize that as we think about, for example, how the United States has just released the new AI Bill of Rights. And I believe one of those Bill of Rights where like people should be aware of when artificial intelligence is being used to collect data about you or being influenced to make decisions on your behalf for different ways in which you access like grocery stores, healthcare, things like that. So I was reading through, I was like, oh my goodness. So you think about how people say, oh, my rent jumped from $1,200, then it went up to $2,700, and I don't understand why. Could it be that this AI-based software called RealPage is behind the high rates going up? So apparently it's very much controversial within the rental industry, and it delves into some of the ways in which the algorithm suggests rent changes and how it's impacting people across the country in different markets. And I just encourage you, if you have a little bit of time, to come out here and read this article. So yeah, y'all, that's it. Again, social media fasts are good. If you've ever done a social media fast and it has served you well, please you're more than welcome to leave a comment. And as I come across new and interesting information, I'll be sure to share it. And if you've seen Wakanda Forever, love to hear your thoughts on that. And y'all take care, and I'll see you in the next video.